Very good morning, dear students. I cordially invite you all to 30 question discussion session. Today, we are going to discuss chapter 8, biodiversity and conservation. Biodiversity and conservation. First question: how many hotspots of biodiversity in the world have been identified till date by Norman Meyer? What is biodiversity hotspots? Biodiversity hotspots are areas or regions which have high species diversity and high degree of endemism. High species diversity and high degree of endemism. These regions are identified as biodiversity hotspot. The regions have high degree of endemism and high degree of species diversity. By identifying biodiversity hotspot, much concentration is put behind conserving biodiversity hotspot. There are only 34 biodiversity hotspots. There are only 34 biodiversity hotspots. Probably we may imagine that how the biodiversity can be conserved. Identification and protection of only 34 biodiversity hotspots all over the world. But it is very important. Biodiversity hotspots are very important, even though they constitute less than 2% of the land area of the world. By protecting biodiversity hotspot, it can be reduced. That is, or the biodiversity loss of biodiversity can be reduced by 30%. So imagine, just see, just protecting 2% land area, we can reduce 30% biodiversity loss. That is the importance of protecting biodiversity hotspot. Biodiversity hotspot. So biodiversity hotspots are very important in conservation of biodiversity. Then next, red list contain data or information. Red list, it is periodically published by IUCN, and the red list contain threatened species. The red list contain threatened species. That is the species which faces high degree of loss, or they may be probably become extincted. So their existence is threatened. So they are threatened species. It was published in the name IUCN Red List. Question number 3, it is an out of NCERT question. That is which of the following national parks is home to musk deer or hen-gull? Musk deer or hen-gull, an endemic species of Kashmir. It was preserved in Dachigan National Park in Jammu and Kashmir. This endemic species of deer, musk deer or hen-gull, it was preserved or conserved in Dachigan National Park in Jammu and Kashmir. Let us have a look upon the other national parks and for what they are important. Even though it is not in NCRT, let us have a look. The first one, Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary in Arunachal Pradesh. Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary in Arunachal Pradesh. It is a major birding area. Birds are protected. It is a bird sanctuary. It is a bird sanctuary. About 454 species of birds are present in this sanctuary. So the name Eagle Nest, it was derived from the Red Eagle Division of Indian Army was posted there during the 1950s. That is a division of Indian Army called Red Eagle Division of Indian Army. So was posted there in 1950s. From that, the name has been derived, Eagle Nest Wildlife Sanctuary. The next is Kebul Lamjo National Park in Manipur. Kebul Lamjo National Park in Manipur. In this national park, the most endangered species of a deer, one of the most endangered species of a deer, that is brown antler deer, is protected there. Brown antler deer is protected in this wildlife sanctuary. It is known as world's one of the most endangered species of deer. Another importance of this wildlife sanctuary, it is the only floating wildlife sanctuary or floating national park in the world. Floating national park in the world because it is in the Loktak Lake of Manipur. Loktak Lake of Manipur, this wildlife sanctuary or this national park. Next, Bandhavgarh National Park in Madhya Pradesh, which a species is protected. Bengal tiger is protected there. Bandhavgarh National Park in Madhya Pradesh, Bengal tiger. Here it is, question is musk deer or handle is protected. This is a bird sanctuary. Here it is brown antlered musk deer. The musk antlered deer is protected. Here Bengal tiger is protected. Okay. Next is question. Then, which one of the following is related to ex situ conservation? Ex situ conservation. In ex situ conservation, the species or the organisms are protected in an area other than its natural habitat. The organisms are taken out from the natural habitat and they are protected in special areas. That is ex situ conservation. In situ conservation, the organisms, the species is protected in their natural habitat. In their natural habitat. In situ, natural habitat. Ex situ, in an artificial protection site. There may be a confusion arise. Wildlife safari park is an ex situ conservation. Wildlife safari park is an ex situ conservation. All these, they are in situ conservation. They are in situ conservation. The confusion normally arises from wildlife safari park because wildlife sanctuary is an in situ conservation. Wildlife sanctuary is an in situ conservation. But a wildlife safari park is an ex situ conservation. Normally, we miss it. Wildlife safari park, by the name it spells, we may think that it is in situ conservation. So, a usually projected question for ex situ conservation. Next, question number 5. Right, the region of biosphere reserve, which is legally protected, where no human activity is allowed. So, biosphere reserve, it is divided into 3 zones. It is divided into 3 zones. The outer zone is called the transition zone. Middle zone is called the buffer zone. Innermost zone is called the core zone. A biosphere reserve is divided into 3. Outer, transition zone, middle, buffer zone, and inner core zone. So in the outer transition zone, human activities including human settlement is allowed. Human activities are legally allowed. Human settlement is allowed in transition zone. In the buffer zone, limited human activities are allowed, like ecotourism, or that is trekking, and like activities are limited, human activities are allowed. So why that is ecotourism like that? Nature friendly, limited human activities are allowed. Clear? But in core zone, no human activities are allowed. In any case, no human activities are allowed in the core zone. So, transition zone, human activities including human settlement is allowed. Buffer zone, limited human activities are allowed, like ecotourism or other nature-friendly activities. But in the core zone, there is no human activities are allowed. No human activities are allowed. Okay. Now we come to the next question. Which of the following is not a method of in situ conservation? Here a negative answer to in situ conservation we require. Not a method of in situ conservation. That is option 2, botanical garden. Botanical garden is an ex situ conservation. It is an ex situ conservation. That is, plants are collected from different parts, that is from their natural habitat. They are protected in a special setup. And that area is known as botanical garden. The others are You can see the wildlife sanctuary, sacred grove, and biosphere reserve. They are in situ conservation. In situ conservation. Botanical garden is an ex situ conservation. Ex situ conservation. Next. Which of the following region of the globe has highest species diversity? The greatest species diversity, it is found in Amazon forest. Amazon forest is a tropical rainforest. It is a tropical rainforest and it is located on either side of river Amazon. That is in South America, river Amazon. River Amazon, it starts from the Andes mountain range in Peru and runs across Brazil. Runs across Brazil and after flowing a distance of 6,400 kilometers, it joins the sea. 6,400 kilometers, it joins the sea. This river has 1,000 tributaries, sub-rivers, 1,000 tributaries. Then on either side of the Amazon river, there is a tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforest. So it is that rainforest richest biodiversity. Since most of the forest or most of the Amazon river flows across Brazil, which country has the greatest biodiversity or species diversity? It is Brazil, because major part of Amazonian forest is located in Brazil. So the richest biodiversity country, it is the Brazil. Next, it is the region of the world where more living species live or greatest biodiversity than any other geographical area. Which type of habitat? It is a tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforest has the greatest biodiversity in the world comparing the other geographical region. That is why we had seen in the earlier question, just the previous question, Amazonian forest, the greatest biodiversity, because it is a tropical rainforest. Why tropical rainforest? They show richest biodiversity because of three reasons. One reason, speciation started much earlier in tropical regions. Speciation started much earlier in tropical region. Second region, the climatic condition, or there is less fluctuation in the climatic condition in tropical region. Climatic condition of tropical region is more or less constant. We say more or less constant in the sense that when we compare it to the temperate region, the tropical regions, the climatic condition, adverse climatic condition is comparatively less than that of temperate region. Why? In temperate region, they are subjected to frequent glaciation. They are subjected to frequent glaciation. What is glaciation? Snow covered, covering by ice. Ice covered for many years. So, tropical region, they have no such glaciation and they show high degree of species diversity. Then the third reason is more availability of solar energy. Tropical region, more availability of solar energy. These are the three reasons for rich species diversity in tropical region. First, speciation started much earlier in tropical region, more or less constant climatic condition, no adverse climatic condition, no fluctuation in climatic condition, and more availability of solar energy. Availability of solar energy. Okay, next. Greatest loss of biodiversity, it is caused by. Greatest loss of biodiversity is caused by habitat alteration. It is caused by habitat alteration. That is loss of habit. Habit loss or fragmentation. Habit loss or fragmentation is one of the major reason. One of the major reason for biodiversity loss. Biodiversity loss. The other three reasons: over exploitation. Many of the species became extincted due to over exploitation. Over exploitation. NCERT also noted, for example, dodo from Mauritius, stellar sea cow, that is from Africa, thylacine from Australia, a stellar sea cow, it is from Russia, stellar sea cow from Russia, thylacine from Australia, quagga from Africa, dodo from Mauritius, stellar sea cow from Russia, then thylacine of Australia, quagga of Africa. These animals extincted because of over exploitation. Second reason for biodiversity loss is over exploitation. The most important is habitat loss or fragmentation. Fragmentation means the habitat get fragmented into small pieces. Then another third reason is invasion of alien species, invasion of exotic species, invasion of foreign species. That is not a species of that region. When a foreign species invade and colonize in a habitat, what happens? It will compete with the native species and the native species may get extincted. Then that is the third reason. Fourth reason is co-extinction. That is, co-extinction means if one species extinct, another species which depend upon the previous one also extinct. This is well seen in obligate parasitic relationship or obligate symbiotic association. If one species extinct, the other one also extinct. That is co-extinction. These four are together called evil quartet. Evil quartet. Among them, the most serious is habitat loss. Then, next step. species introduced into an area from somewhere else is called. Species introduced into an area. It is an introduced species. It is not a native species. What the species is called? It is called an exotic species or alien species. It is called an exotic species or alien species. When such a species are introduced into an area, it will create an unhealthy, or it causes an unhealthy competition between the native species. Sometimes in this competition, the native species could not survive. They become extincted. Many such introduced species from plant side: Parthenium, Lantana camara, Nile perch, African catfish. These are all exotic, introduced alien species which invade, however, maybe a natural way or a man-made activity. That is one. Next, which of the following is not a cause of loss of biodiversity? Not a negative answer. Destruction, keeping animals in zoologic park. It is not a cause of biodiversity loss. It is an exit to conservation. It is an exit to conservation, not a cause of biodiversity loss. Answer is this. But here, destruction of habitat, invasion by alien species, over exploitation, non-judicious poaching, hunting, all these causes biodiversity loss. All the other four are causes, reasons for biodiversity loss. Then, next, question number 12. Which one of the following is not an invasive alien species in Indian context? So the species introduced into our subcontinent. The question is not an alien species. Cynodon. Cynodon is a grass. It is a grass and it is not an invasive alien species. Parthenium, Eichhornia, African catfish, Lantana. Three plant examples are there. Parthenium, Lantana, Eichhornia. All are introduced. Then African catfish, so they are alien invasive species. Next. Where among the following will you find pitcher plant? Pitcher plant, it is an insectivorous plant. It has an insect capturing structure like this. It has an insect capturing structure like this. It is a leaf modification. Insect capturing structure of a that is pitcher plant. It is called Nepenthes. In Nepenthes, the leaf is modified into an insect capturing structure called pitcher. Insect capturing structure called pitcher. It has a small opening and a lid. When the insect enter into that, it closes it. So this portion of the plant also modified into a coiled, spirally coiled structure. The tip is modified into a pitcher. It is a native of rainforest of northeastern India. It is common in northeastern India, a tropical rainforest of northeastern India. Now, question number 14 is a match the following. All the animals given in column A are extincted. Their respective countries are given in column B. Answer is D. Dodo, it is a flightless bird in Mauritius. It was an endemic species of Mauritius. It was an endemic bird in Mauritius. What is an endemic bird or what is an endemic species? That is, that species is found only in that region. No other part of the world, naturally the species does not exist. So Mauritius is the native place of Dodo. Quagga, it is the zebra-like animal of Africa. Zebra-like animal of Africa, it became extincted because of overexploitation. Because the animal, a zebra-like animal, was hunted extensively for the expensive and beautiful skin of the animal. Dodo, it was exploited because it is a flightless bird, so it could not move very fast, so it is overexploited because of the tasty meat. Thylacine, the largest carnivorous marsupial of Australia. Largest carnivorous marsupial of Australia. Then stellar sea cow of Russia. It is a herbivorous animal. Body weight is about 8,000 to 10,000 kilogram. And the animal became extinct due to overexploitation for meat. So it was first identified by George Stellar. So it is called a stellar sea cow, a cow-like herbivorous animal, an aquatic animal. So it is option D. Amongst the animal groups given below, which one has the highest percentage of endangered species? In animals, the highest percentage of endangered species is in amphibians. Why? The amphibians prefer a dual habitat, land and water. Due to habitat loss, the condition of having a dual habitat cannot be satisfied for amphibians. So amphibians face the highest risk or highest percentage of endangered species in animal category. The reason is because they require a dual habit. Among the plants, the highest percentage of endangered species or threatened species, risky group, is gymnosperm. Plants, gymnosperm. Animals, it is amphibians. Next. 16. Which of the following forest is known as the lung of Earth or lung of the planet Earth? It is the Amazonian rainforest, known as the lung of planet Earth, because due to the large number of plants or high species diversity or large number of plants growing in Amazonian forest, during photosynthesis they release oxygen. We know that oxygen is released during photosynthesis. It is estimated that 20% of the required oxygen it is released from Amazonian forest. Amazonian forest. So it is called lung of planet Earth. Number 17. Which active chemical drug? The active chemical drug reserpine is obtained from. It is obtained from Revolvia. The species name we know, Revolvia vomitifera. Revolvia vomitifera, that is reserpine. It is an alkaloid, a very important chemical used as a drug, medicine, not that other type of drug, what we may think sometimes. It is used in medicine for the treatment of many diseases or many disorders. Reserpine, it is an alkaloid. It is used in medicine. Then, next is, which of the following group of plants exhibit more species diversity? More species diversity, it occurs in fungi, slightly higher than angiosperm. Angiosperms, the highly successful group in plant kingdom, most evolved group in plant kingdom, but fungi, number of fungi species, little higher than the angiosperm. So it is angiosperm. Fungi is the answer. Next, IUCN Red List 2004 documents extinction of 784 species. NCERT data, it is classified into 3 categories. IUCN periodically publish the red list. The red list of 2004 is given in NCERT, not further updation. Anyhow, the answer is A. It is a data. So it includes this 784 includes 338 vertebrates, 359 invertebrates, and about 87 plants in the red list of 2004, thus making the total 784. 20. Here log S equal to log C plus Z into log A, where S represent the species richness. This is what we call species area curve. In the original value, the curve is in a rectangular hyperbola. The curve is a rectangular hyperbola. That is, a curve increases with the increase of species diversity, then it gradually becomes a constant. a graph like this, it is rectangular hyperbola. If the same thing or the same graph is drawn considering the logarithmic values instead of original value, considering logarithmic value, while considering logarithmic value, it will be a straight line. It will be a straight line. So S represent the species richness. Species richness. Next. Out of the following, which region has more number of species? More number of species. The answer is C, Colombia. Why Colombia has high number of or large number of species? Means the species diversity is higher in Colombia because it lie near the equator. It lie near the equator. What is the importance of lying near the equator? So it is a tropical region. It is a tropical region. That is Colombia. It is a tropical country. It near the equator. So tropical region near the equator is the reason for high species diversity. Then next is an out of text question. Which one is the first national park in India? It is the Corbett National Park in Uttarakhand. It is situated in Uttarakhand. So sometimes the full name is Jim Corbett National Park in Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand. So the name has been given. The name derived from Edward James Corbett. He was a hunter and naturalist. Hunter means man-eating. He hunted man-eating tigers. So a hunter and naturalist. This national park was established in 1936. 1936, it was established, the first national park. The other Periyar Sanctuary, it was established as a sanctuary in 1982. Kaziranga, it was recognized, established as a national park in 1974, Annamalai in 1976, and Silent Valley in 1984. 1984. Kaziranga National Park was there in 1905, but identified or given the status of a national park only in 1974. The expanded form of IUCN, that is International Union of Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. Nature and Natural Resources, where the headquarters of IUCN is located. Headquarters of IUCN is located in the Morges city of Switzerland. Morges city of Switzerland, the headquarters of IUCN is located. Then, next, what is an endemic species? Endemic species is the species that is found naturally in just one geographical area. Just one geographical area. That means they are not naturally present in the other regions of Earth. Other regions of Earth. Then, Next, biodiversity is affected by, answer C, both latitude, answer A, latitudinal gradient and species area curve relationship. Latitudinal gradient, that is difference in species diversity when we move from one latitude to other. When we move from low latitude to high latitude, equator to polar region, the species diversity decreases. From equator to polar region, Earth 0 degree latitude. 0 degree latitude is the equator. 90 degree latitude is the polar region. When we move from 0 degree latitude to polar region, 0 degree latitude is the equator. When we move from equator to the polar region, this is the North Pole and this is the South Pole. Polar region, South Polar region, no, whatever may be. In this direction, what happens? Species diversity decreases. Species diversity decreases. Okay, species diversity decreases. When we move from equator to the, then how it is species area curve relationship? When area of exploration increases, species diversity also increases, but only up to certain limit. Only up to certain limit. This is what we call rectangular hyperbola. Then, from high latitude to low latitude, this is what is asked. From high latitude to low latitude. Question number 26 asks about this. High latitude to low latitude. When we move in this direction, low latitude to high latitude, species diversity decreases. When we move from high latitude to low latitude, species diversity increases. Species diversity increases. 27. The relationship between species richness and area for a wide variety of taxa. This one, species area relationship. Here it is a rectangular hyperbola. This is what we called a rectangular hyperbola. This is considering the log values. Considering the log values, it is a straight line. Then 28, considering the log values, what is the relationship between species richness and area of exploration? It is given log S equal to logarithmic value. Log S equal to log C into Z log A. In original value, it is S equal to C into A raised to Z into A raised to Z. Next, Rivett-Popper hypothesis explains the importance of species in an ecosystem. Rivette-Popper hypothesis, it was proposed by Paul Ehrlich, a celebrated ecologist of Stanford University. A simple hypothesis he proposed, that is, he was trying to explain the importance of a species in an ecosystem. To narrate this theme, he compared the whole ecosystem to that of an aircraft. All the nut, bolt, rivet, nail, screw, etc. It is compared to species in the ecosystem. And he narrates, if one passenger pull out a nail, it may not affect the ecosystem. It may not affect the ecosystem. So he also said, if one species in an ecosystem is lost, it may not affect the dynamism, it may not affect the existence of the ecosystem. But he also give a caution. If you remove an important nail, if you remove an important screw of the aircraft, it will affect the safety of the aircraft. It will affect the safety of the aircraft. That means he come to that. If one species is lost, it will not affect the ecosystem. It will not affect the ecosystem. But he cautions, if the lost species is an important species, it will definitely affect the ecosystem. It will definitely affect the ecosystem. He compared it to that of an aircraft. If one passenger pull out an unimportant screw, it will not affect the safety of the ecosystem. But if the passenger take away an important nail or screw or bolt, it will affect the safety of the aircraft. Like that, if the lost species is an important species, it will affect the ecosystem. So a plain question regarding this, whether a single species, loss of single species affect the existence of the ecosystem, dynamism of ecosystem, the answer cannot be said in a direct way, and it depends upon the importance of the species in the ecosystem. If that species is important, it will affect the ecosystem. Next question. This one is the answer. Oh, sorry. All right. The keystone species is one that. What is a keystone? Keystone species. Keystone species is one that it exerts strong influence in the ecosystem. It exerts strong influence in the ecosystem. Sometimes the species of the ecosystem, in terms of size or other character, it may not be significant. It may not be significant. But the role of the species is very much required for the existence of the ecosystem. That is why we name that keystone species. That means keystone species is a very important species in the ecosystem. In many cases, the existence of the ecosystem, the dynamism of the ecosystem, it is based on the keystone species. That all about in this session, 30 question discussion session of chapter 8, Biodiversity and Conservation. So I wind up here. Thank you. Thank you very much.